Red Bull faces a crucial decision ahead of the 2025 season, especially after realizing that Perez's performance is unlikely to secure them a strong position in the Constructors' Championship. With several competitive candidates now in the mix, particularly Sainz and Bottas, the Austrian team has an opportunity to assemble a highly competitive lineup in the new era of regulations. This will be vital if they are to continue challenging McLaren, Mercedes, and Ferrari from 2025 onwards. However, Perez's significant influence, bolstered by the financial backing of Carlos Slim, complicates matters. Additionally, Red Bull's loss of around $20 million after slipping from first to third in the constructors' standings raises the question of how these financial and strategic factors might impact their decision. Will these considerations affect Red Bull's choice of a replacement for Sergio Perez? If so, what approach will they take in selecting his successor? One of the strongest candidates for Red Bull is Liam Lawson. His impressive performances in 2024, scoring points in 2 out of the 3 races he substituted for Ricciardo, demonstrate his potential, and Christian Horner has taken notice. In fact, Horner recently ranked Lawson above Tsunoda in terms of overall performance, with both drivers' progress set to be evaluated at the end of the season. However, with reports suggesting that Sainz has a clause in his Williams contract allowing him to move to another team if a seat becomes available in 2025, and with Bottas now a free agent, the question arises, does Lawson remain Red Bull's most logical choice? The issue for Red Bull is that while Lawson is undeniably young and talented, they are understandably cautious after the experiences with Gasly and De Vries, both of whom failed to meet expectations when given a chance at the senior team. Red Bull's goal is to avoid a similar situation. As Horner has noted, Lawson did a super job again today, and Tsunoda as well, but Liam, particularly considering his experience, has shown a lot of promise. Franco is another talent we're keeping an eye on, but you're always monitoring the market and watching how things evolve. In this context, Lawson certainly seems like a promising option, but Red Bull will need to weigh the risks carefully before making their final decision. One key challenge with Liam Lawson, however, is that he doesn't bring significant financial backing, which could be a major factor in Red Bull's decision-making process. For those who might dismiss the importance of financial support, look no further than Sergio Perez. Despite being ranked 8th in the Drivers' Championship and still without a win in 2024, Perez has managed to keep his seat in a car that's consistently in the top 3. This is largely due to the substantial financial backing he receives from Carlos Slim, which has played a critical role in securing his position. This financial aspect is also why drivers like Sainz and Bottas are being linked to the Red Bull seat. They bring more to the table in terms of sponsorship and regional support. For instance, Santander, one of the world's largest banks, pulled its financial backing from Ferrari after it was confirmed that Sainz would not continue with the team. Similarly, Carlos Slim has made it clear that if Perez is no longer part of Red Bull, he is likely to withdraw his financial support from the team. This would be a significant blow to Red Bull, especially considering Perez's influence in Latin America and the impact his presence has on merchandise sales, something Christian Horner has previously emphasized as important. Given these factors, Red Bull may need to consider drivers who can help maintain or grow their financial support in key markets, especially Latin America. One such option could be Argentine driver Franco Colapinto. Colapinto has demonstrated considerable potential both in terms of performance and commercial appeal. He has already shown that he can compete at a high level, with performances that have put pressure on his teammate, Albon, after scoring 5 points in 2024. His background and appeal in Latin America could help Red Bull maintain its regional support, while his competitiveness could be an asset in the fight for the Constructors' Championship. Ultimately, while Lawson's talent is undeniable, Red Bull may have to weigh the financial and regional considerations more heavily, and Colapinto could emerge as a strong contender if they decide to prioritize both performance and commercial value. The key uncertainty surrounding Franco Colapinto is his qualifying performance. While he has demonstrated impressive race pace, which is often more crucial for making up positions during the race, his qualifying form remains a concern. If he continues to start further down the grid, similar to Perez, and struggles to progress through the field, he could become another version of the Mexican driver, someone who's capable of great race results but struggles to deliver when it comes to qualifying and overtaking. In that case, Red Bull would be wise to reconsider their approach, as it would suggest that financial backing might once again be outweighing performance, a situation Red Bull may not want to repeat. Christian Horner has been notably diplomatic in handling the Perez situation. While he continues to praise Perez for his contributions, he's also acknowledged that there are limits to what the team can do to help him get back to his best. This subtly hints that Red Bull might be considering a change. Perez, however, remains confident in his position. He insists that he will race for Red Bull in 2025 and believes it will be up to him to decide when he retires, rather than the team making that call. Despite this, Horner's recent comments suggest that Red Bull may be ready to move on from the 34-year-old. In the aftermath of Brazil, Horner reflected on the missed opportunity to make significant gains in the Constructors' Championship against Ferrari and McLaren. He admitted it was frustrating not to capitalize on that chance, but remained optimistic about Red Bull's ability to regroup and fight back in the upcoming races. I haven't sat in the debrief. I haven't heard Perez's comments, but there was nothing evident to me in the race. I think everything in life is subjective, and you've got to look at the facts, Horner said. His comments are telling. He's focused on the bigger picture, which seems to suggest that Red Bull could be looking for a stronger, more consistent partner for Max Verstappen in the long term. If Perez doesn't improve, it could signal the end of his time at Red Bull. Yuki Tsunoda is also a serious contender for the Red Bull seat, having consistently outperformed his teammates, including Pierre Gasly and Daniel Ricciardo. Despite this, he hasn't received as much attention from the Austrian team as some might expect. This could be due to a couple of factors. Tsunoda is closely linked to Honda, and he was not developed through Red Bull's famed driver academy. As a result, Red Bull may prefer to either promote an internal candidate or recruit an experienced driver, rather than take a chance on someone who has strong ties to a Japanese manufacturer. However, with Honda now collaborating with Aston Martin, Tsunoda could find himself in the frame as a potential replacement for either the aging Fernando Alonso or the struggling Lance Stroll, especially if Aston Martin looks to further solidify its lineup. Red Bull, however, may not need to make a decision on Tsunoda just yet. Christian Horner has spoken positively about the Japanese driver, noting that Tsunoda will have an opportunity to prove himself after the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. According to Horner, Tsunoda will undergo a review from Red Bull's top management to assess whether his talent justifies taking a risk on him, especially given some concerns about his technical knowledge and tendency to let emotions affect his performance at times. In addition, Horner has confirmed that Tsunoda will get a chance to drive for Red Bull in a test session after the season finale in Abu Dhabi. Yuki is obviously a member of the junior team. It's something we've discussed with Honda, that he should have a test in one of our cars in Yas Marina after the last race of the season. He'll test the car again at the tire test following the conclusion of the season. It's something that's been agreed for quite some time, and it will be good to give him a run, give him the opportunity to work with Red Bull racing engineers and see how he performs in a Red Bull racing car, Horner said. This will be a crucial test for Tsunoda, as Red Bull will be able to evaluate not just his driving skills, but also his adaptability to the team and his potential for future development within the Red Bull fold. Depending on his performance, Tsunoda could be a more viable option than initially thought, though his relationship with Honda and his ability to manage his emotions and technical feedback will likely be key factors in any potential move. An intriguing name that has emerged in the Red Bull seat conversation is Carlos Sainz. The Spanish driver reportedly has a clause in his contract with Williams that allows him to leave if a top team offers him a seat in 2025, and Red Bull certainly qualifies as such. While this could create a dilemma for Williams, Horner was seen leaving the Williams motorhome in Brazil, which likely indicated discussions regarding either Sainz or Franco Colapinto, both of whom have now been linked to a potential Red Bull seat. However, in his most recent comments, Horner was refreshingly blunt about Sainz's prospects with the team. He stated, "There's always plenty of speculation in the F1 paddock. Carlos Sainz is going to be a Williams driver next year. He's a great driver, had a big win in Mexico recently, and I think he'll be very good for that team. he's committed to Williams, and he wouldn't form part of our plans for next year. This suggests that, despite the speculation, Red Bull's immediate plans do not include Sainz, at least for the 2025 season. Another driver who has entered the conversation is Valtteri Bottas. The Finnish veteran could be a perfect fit as Red Bull's second driver. With his experience and consistency, Bottas would be an ideal wingman for Max Verstappen, able to score valuable points for the team without the pressure of being the number one driver. Bottas is approaching the latter stages of his career, and at this point, he may be looking for a role where he can play a more supporting role while still competing at the highest level. However, Bottas is also linked with a potential return to Mercedes, where he could serve as a reserve driver, helping them restore their competitive edge after a challenging few seasons. While there might be some lingering personal tension between Bottas and his former teammate Lewis Hamilton, it's well known that in Formula One, business often takes precedence over personal matters. If Bottas sees a strong opportunity at Red Bull, it could very well trump any potential discomfort with Mercedes, making him an interesting option for the team. Ultimately, while Sainz may be off the table for now, Bottas is an intriguing option for Red Bull, particularly if the team is looking for a solid, experienced second driver who can help them maintain their dominance in the Constructors' Championship, while also supporting Verstappen in his title defense. However, Red Bull will have to weigh whether Bottas's potential return to Mercedes might shift the balance in their favor or not. Bottas has expressed his desire to remain a starting driver, not a reserve, but he acknowledges the reasons behind his replacement, which makes his future somewhat uncertain. With that in mind, who do you think would be the ideal candidate to take Perez's place? Do you see a scenario where Sergio could lose his seat in 2025? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss all the latest news from the world of Formula One. Thank you for watching. See you in the next videos.